All right, let's do this.
Yeah, actually, let me do another take of this. Just the beginning of it.
What's the purpose of this project then? What's the main project? Purpose of the project?
The purpose. I suppose the whole thing was that there was no purpose.
I made this beat 5 minutes ago. And I'm gonna throw it away in 5 minutes. Baby, let me be a part of your universe. Baby, let me be a part of your universe.
For the past 3-4 years, I've been sort of very project oriented, going into the studio, whether it's in my bedroom, whether it's the studios at the university, and I was kind of the past 6-7 months I was in a little bit of a creative rut as to all those like sort of themes and the limitations that I put on myself in a certain way, which were beneficial, kind of started to add too much pressure into the whole creative process. Trying to like stick to those rules that I myself made up. And I was talking to Mark Slater, one of my professors at the uni, sort of like really annoying him with my creative problems, and he suggested that I just go in and just create without thinking about the end product. Just go in, create, and whatever happens. Yeah, just do it. I started going into the studio sort of around 7-8 p.m. every day after like I was done with my work to just create and be present. And I made a couple songs. I called them garbage band beats, which was sort of like I thought it was funny, which isn't.
We made this beat with my friend Aaron 5 minutes ago, and I'm gonna throw it away in the next 5.
And the first one I posted on Instagram, it got like almost 1,000 views, and then Aaron and I had a session. Aaron is an amazing jazz pianist at the uni, Aaron Green, and just before he left, I had him like record some keys for me, and I made another beat out of that, recorded myself just improvising a riff and coming up with a song over it, and all of a sudden I felt like I had unlocked this creative potential that I had in me, which I wasn't able to tap into.
Ooh, baby, won't you let me worry about the things I said? You know how I get.
I think there's a song there.
Absolutely.
I think Aaron and I did that session on Wednesday, and Thursday we were scheduled to record and film a live EP of the songs that I had been performing the past couple of years in Hall.
Mm-hmm.
And things happen in bands. My drummer had to step away from the project, and we had spent already like 3 months planning this studio session. So I thought, let's go in and do another garbage band session.
Yeah.
And that was kind of the whole idea. It was just a few things coming together, a few things you would consider barriers that could kind of stop you from making those things happen. just coming in to create that beautiful session. I mean, you were there. It was like a creative festival, wasn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
I've been learning the drums for like, I've got, 2-3 months of practice. And just like having to play all those instruments and having to think differently and getting like 3 takes at max.
Yeah.
It was such like, and then, you know, thinking about photographers, like you just get that moment, like it's not gonna be repeated. So you capture what you're able to capture in the best way possible. And I feel like that's just, the moment is gone. Like you can repeat it, but probably the messier photo that you would take earlier just spontaneously would be better than the planned one, I suppose.
That session, in my opinion, I produced the best photos I've ever took. Like I do, like in my mind, I'm like that like I didn't realize like how, I don't know, just a little something like, I was like, wow, this is really cool photos of Choby. I was like, what? Like I didn't expect it to come that you know good. I was just like, I try my best, you know, to give my best, but then I was like, really proud of myself after. I was like, these are really nice shots and I can use them for my portfolio. And
yeah, amazing stuff.
Nice,
like that photo of me behind the drum kit, it's like the portrait one. That's like, I mean, I told you this before when we met, I was like, that's something I would frame and send to my grandmother. She would love that. And no one has to know how shit I am at playing the drums. I'll have that photo forever and no one can dispute that, you know.
Just because I got a photo of me doing the drums, I'm amazing, you know.
I write, produce, engineer my own stuff, like always. At first it was a necessity because in Cyprus, you know, resources are limited, and then I couldn't also, you know, afford to hire a lot of people being a teenager with no money. But then that kind of necessity became a part of my creative process, and I feel like it was probably the first time I ever worked with, you know, other people in terms of just me concentrating on the writing and the performing and letting other people produce and engineer it. And that was just like another challenge, but it didn't feel like a challenge at all. It didn't feel challenging to let go of that control, because I was in a room with all these creatives who were just, you know, actually enjoying the process. Shute, I think he was supposed to be just a guest in the studio that day, and he came through. He like handled that session like a king, and
he saved the files, didn't he?
He did.
When
he did.
What was it? FL Studio decided to just die. Like, just to not allow us to use it, and then he was just like, and he just sorted out for everything, like the last part of that session. And I was just witnessing him, like, he saved it. I was just like, this guy's just saved, like.
Yeah, so basically it crashed. It said it quit unexpectedly, and I've gone to reopen it, and I don't think Sam saved it. Bro,
recently I've taken a lover, being in her arms feels like a shower under April rain.
The song is sounding good. I had some of the first year friends of mine at the production course, Sala, and Sepehr, who's also arrived from Cyprus. They sort of mixed it. And it's all sounding good. We left some of like the talking things that you and Jay had.
Oh,
and,
really?
Yeah, it was sounding so dreamy, so we kind of went with the flow.
Oh, nice. I'm excited. I haven't heard it yet, so I'm excited to hear it.
Yeah. Like, there were a few producers, but I'd always been sort of like... Because it's like an isolated small community, you know? It's isolated from the rest of the world, and the producers are still doing like how they produced in the 90s. And I would be like, no, I want to use this electronic element, I want to use this, I want to use that. And no one would take me seriously. So for me, learning how to produce was a must, you know?
Yeah.
Because if I didn't do that, no one was going to...
Because like, it's what a skill to have now.
Yeah.
Like, there's people that'll come through and just play and then go to people to produce. So go
Yeah.
to produce. And
Yeah.
that's expensive, and
Yeah.
and as well, like you can you know what they're
Can you hear
doing.
me?
You understand their part of their
Yeah.
because it's two different skills, isn't it?
It is. It is.
Yeah, I remember like the first couple hours when we were still setting up, and I left to get some coffee, and I could just like hear the talk and the laughter going on in the studio. And I was like, even if I create a very good song today, that's like the best thing that I made happen today. Like
Yeah.
I was really, really happy that everyone was just there just for the arts, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
And I feel like it's all about creating a platform and opportunities for yourself and your friends. It's like we overthink the formula in the world of arts. It's like, oh, you should follow this algorithm and do this TikTok and push this and da-da-da. And it's like, it's all bullshit, pardon my French. It's like, just get together with your friends and be honest and create and make mistakes and then learn from them, and at certain moments embrace those mistakes. I feel like in a way that's why it was such a good session as well, because none of us had time to plan anything. Like in the studio, I feel like, I don't know what you thought about the session. Maybe you thought I was calm, I was like, you know, in a good mood, but that's not how usually my studio sessions go. It's like a bit tense, a bit more chaotic, a bit more, you know, because you're trying to get that perfection, you know, trying to realize that vision. But when you go in without a vision, just for the purpose of creating, you sort of give your soul the chance to like try new things and tap into new like creative zones. And I feel like the song is a bit messy in a way because of that, but maybe also at the same time it sounds like what people were hoping I would end up sounding like in a way, because I didn't have time to overthink it. I just had to write it in the spot, write the guitar parts, write lyrics, improvise them, sit down behind the drums. And bear in mind, I've been learning the drums for like, I've got 2-3 months of practice, and just like having to play all those instruments and having to think differently and getting like 3 takes at max. It was such like, you're in the shadow. Are you cold?
It's fine, I'm alright.
Nah, you're
I'm cool.
British.
I'm
You'll
going
be
to the dark side. The Sith's coming for me.
I feel like we've
I think that's a good overall around
good conversation.
conversation with everything we kind of.
I wish I had some Cypriot coffee, then the conversation would be 10 times better.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Right.